It's why it's so important to not box yourself into, well, this is how this person did it, so this is how I have to do it. Because you and I
Yeah.
are very different on that. We're like reaching for the same outcome, but we got there differently.
All the
And
time.
if like when
We
I
never
was,
get to the same place. Like we never get to where we're going the same way.
right, we get to come with our own stories to be like, hey,
Yeah.
like, guess who,
You
I took a
never
bumpy
you
road.
never want to go the way that I
I
want to go.
can't.
I'm always
Like,
like, hey baby, don't do that. And you're all, well,
I
that's
know.
what I'm doing.
And I'm like, try this. And you're like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we end up getting there. But that's the thing, too, is like people tell you this is how you should do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do this, this is how you do it. And this is the only way. And that's not the only way. That is not the only way. It is so hard. And like your way is so beautiful. And like I'm building, like now my mantras aren't, my favorite mantra right now that is just working and going is, universe, do you know what I want? Universe, do you know where it is? And then listening and going and following and flowing. And when things happen, like life is life. Life isn't a steady upward stream. Life isn't a steady, like, life is, and maybe it is. I just might not have the perspective of it. But in my reality, like, there's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs, things change in life. And I get the space to be like, what am I learning from this? And actually believe that, which I never have before. And I'm also giving myself the space to know there's going to be things that I'm going to experience that I'm not going to say, what am I learning from this? I'm going to have to grieve.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to feel a lot of really, really hard things. It's going to be sad. It's going to be hard. I'm going to feel angry. There's so many things out there that I'm going to have to feel and figure out how to move from there. And I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not spending my life trying to shame, blame, and prevent every bad thing from ever happening, because that's an ultimate failure on myself. And because I didn't do this, that, I'm just like, universe, you know what I want? Universe, you know where it is. Expect the best, plan for the greatest. It took me a really, really long time to get here. And now, like you said, now you're like, what do I want? That's an old program. What do I want? I can start to think that way. But I had to start from stopping. I had to start from scratch to get there.
So I think some things, because we're going to wrap up here, but I think some things that I think are important to take note of is what you say to yourself and what goes on inside your head, that thought process, that belief system, all the little things. We've talked about it all throughout this episode. Those things are really important to start bringing awareness to. Mm-hmm. Now, you might not have the same baseline shame program that we do. You might have some different variations of it. You might have a very positive outlook on life and things like that. That's great.
Yeah.
But start bringing awareness to what you think about yourself as well as the world around you. Mm-hmm. And just get really curious. It doesn't even have to be a fix or a solution. It doesn't have to be, okay, I have awareness of this. Now what do I do about it next? Sometimes it's having awareness about it as often and as frequently and as many times as you possibly can is what you do next. So the practice becomes, I need to start seeing how frequently this thing is showing up in my life. So I'm going to look for it as often and as frequently as I can, not as a way to shame myself about it or punish myself or as a way to fix anything, only to get good at the practice of awareness because it's unconscious. So you're trying to bring awareness to something that previously was unconscious. So that's a really important first step. And then also making note that if none of this episode's resonated with you and you're just like, this self-affirmation and daily mantras and, writing things on my mirror or sticky notes, or we do reminders on our phones a lot. So I'll pick up the phone and it will have one of these mantras that I like about myself. I'm worthy of unconditional love, all of these things. So I'm seeing it continually. If that stuff doesn't work for you, and you think, I'm just always going to be stuck in this negative, these kind of things don't work for me, that's a spot that you're at in the healing process. Because we also thought that way. I very much thought that this stuff was bullshit for a long time. That don't tell me that I just have to meditate on some mantra or say some positive affirmation over and over again, and it's going to fix the last 40 years of shame. I didn't believe it. Now, it's not to say that I'm right and you're wrong, or we're right about what we're saying. It's just acknowledgement that you're going to be at different stages of healing throughout your life. And this thing that we're talking about might not be applicable for you right now. But if it is applicable for you and you want to continually kind of look at it, bring awareness to it, get really curious about it, and then get curious about what you want to replace those programs with. That's a really good place to start. And then, yes, write them down, say them all the time, use them when you're talking to other people, when somebody asks you how your day is going, rather than saying same shit, different day, say expect the best, plan for the greatest. That's how my day's going. I'm expecting to leave the house and amazing things are going to happen for me. And when those amazing things happen for me, they're only going to get greater. Expect the best and plan for the greatest. As far as I'm concerned, that's how my life's going right now. How's your life going, right? Start to shift up how you live with these experiences and these self-talk things and how you use them, because that is what the reprogramming process looks like. That's how you start to shift and change these things. And it is a fucking marathon. You're in it for the long haul.
It's like ultra. It's an ultra marathon or whatever the biggest one is. It's that and bigger. It's not couch to 5K.
No, it is an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
And there's times where we get stuck in ruts and we forget them all and we're right back into the negativity of everything, and everything's miserable and we're worthless pieces of shit. And all of those things happen as well. So just know that it's a continual ongoing process that slowly over time, as you reprogram how you see yourself and how you talk to yourself and how you feel about yourself, your perception for the reality around you starts to change. And that's kind of a whole other topic that we can go into maybe on a future episode, or we'll probably touch upon in other episodes. But truthfully, how you talk to yourself and how you see yourself shapes and molds how you see the world around you and how you see people around you and how you see relationships and dynamics. And it's true. I mean, we all can recognize examples of people that have a negative outlook on life, and we can see how that shapes and molds kind of like their interaction with people and how it feels to be around those people. Like people that have a negative outlook on life kind of don't feel great to be around. And I know that's shitty to say, but it's true. They just kind of have a negative vibe to them. And it's because that's how they are seeing the world, and that's how they're experiencing the world. And
it's not saying you can't have down days and you have to hide your down days.
Of course not.
Like that's not what we're saying. So don't hear that.
Yeah.
Or hear that if that's what you need to hear. But it's like there is that flip side of like where you're at. I had another
what else would you
favorite
add to
mantra
this, babe?
that I have on my phone, because you mentioned that and it brought up. I have it pop up every hour because I'm like, this thing is getting in. So every hour I see it, regardless if I like have the conscious awareness, it is hitting. And every hour on my phone, yes, I fucking can, comes up on my phone. And I'm like,
right.
Every hour, except for at night. I have sleep times because
I'm going to wake you
sleep's
up.
important.
I'm waking you up on
Yes,
the
you
hour.
fucking can.
Yes, you fucking can, Stevie.
We were meant to be. We were meant to be. We were meant to be.